This week we're in Rotherhithe. As you can see, there's a huge amount of vessel timbers here. So what we'll be doing as ever is cleaning and drawing and recording them, and hopefully working out the sort of ship they came from. It looks like they've been arranged in some sort of slipway form, so it looks very much like we're sitting below a shipbuilder's who would have been quite close to a ship breaking yard, so you could get the timbers to form a slipway. But we know that Rotherhithe in the sort of 18th and early 19th centuries was full of shipbreakers and shipbuilders, chandleries and mast makers and rope makers.
Yeah, we've just set off from Tower Bridge. We're on a 6-week expedition from London to Marrakesh by kayak and by bike. And we stopped off here. We thought it was a clean-up actually, but it's an archaeological do. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I couldn't believe the timber in there. You've just got to go and have a look at that. It is brilliant, really impressive. Thank you.
This extremely large timber here is almost certainly the bow of a ship. It's what called a stem post, which if it was put upright would give you some idea of the size of the vessel. It's got a rebate in it, and into that rebate the planks would slot, and you can see that rebate very clearly.
It's the last week of our 7-week summer season, and we've been working on sites the whole way across Greater London. We've had an amazing summer. We've had hundreds of people coming down to the foreshore during the weeks we've been out on site, either coming to work as part of their sort of professional development, coming to work as part of the volunteering project, or coming down on one of our events of guided walks and other activities on the foreshore. We started in May in Charlton, so going back to revisit the site of the Castle Shipbreakers Yard. We then moved in June to the Isle of Dogs, to the Burrells Wharf site, where we investigated the launch site of the Great Eastern and ran a very successful event with the Brunel Museum and the Dockland Settlement. We then moved to the Tower of London, which is the subject of episode 7, which I hope you've all seen. It's a fantastic week working with the mudlarkers, doing a fine survey and looking at the historic riverside walls and a new structure on the foreshore, a 17th century stair probably. Then we moved to Greenwich, again a very dynamic site, eroding very quickly. We looked at the remains of the Tudor jetty there, worked with Discover Greenwich on an open day event for families and for adults, and discovered a completely previously unrecorded probable medieval jetty, which is extremely exciting. Then we went west to Kew and to Strand on the Green, looking at access to the waterfront there, the remains of a possible fish trap and the crossing point. And finally here we are in Rotherhithe, where we've got lots of evidence again, sort of harking back to our first site this summer, of shipbreaking and waterfront activity associated with the maritime history of London.
I guess I've now seen most of the typical sorts of sites that we have along the foreshore, so I hope that as the volunteers take over from the professionals, we'll be able to continue to do quite a reasonable job.
I'm a professional archaeologist and I work for a company called AOC Archaeology over at Twickenham. And you might think it's strange for a professional who wants to come down here on his weekend and dig up bits of ship's timber, but I love it. It's a great opportunity for me to just not only enjoy myself, meet different types of people, but it's also an opportunity for training really. So it's a great laugh, and definitely carry on doing more.
we're starting to look ahead to our final year of the project and what we're going to be doing. So we're thinking about our monitoring programme, how we institute this idea of revisiting your site, looking at the archaeology and seeing what has changed. We'll probably be looking at 1 or 2 more sites in slightly more detail, hopefully up at Brentford where we have a boat graveyard, and also over in Wapping, just opposite where we are now.